but I
Okay.
do want us to go ahead and get started. Yay! Awesome. I am so extremely thrilled. You cannot begin to imagine about tonight and about this business session because it's really an opportunity for us to connect as a Young Living family, number one, to better understand what's possible with this business. I know we hear a lot of it in theory of yes, you can do it, you can move forward, you can grow, but to actually have that happening and to see that in terms of the nitty gritty, and having that to happen in a more unconventional manner is what I wanted to really showcase for this evening. So, if you do not know who I am, my name is Lydia Epic. I live in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm originally from South Florida, and we've been with Young Living now for about 4 years. And as some of you may have seen, I have a sweet little girl who really helped us start off our journey. And that's part of why we're here today. But enough about me. Who you're really here for is the Tashena Gonzales. I'm so, so excited, you guys. When I first came across not only her page and her really encouraging and inspirational videos, I loved that she was just doing it. She just has a drive and a consistency of just, I'm in this long haul. And I feel like that's something that we all could really benefit from as business leaders. Because this isn't something that necessarily happens overnight. This takes years of dedication and commitment, and she does it super well. So I'm going to read her bio here real quick, just in case you don't know that much about her. Let me find it here. Here we go. So for Tashena, she is the owner of Vid Activa. Did I say that right? Vid Activa? Okay.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Vida Activa Educational Services, she provides education to busy professionals on life hacks for toxin-free living and other healthy tips so they don't feel overwhelmed and let the busyness of their lives get in the way of them being healthy. She has been in the automotive industry as an automotive professional for 13 years, working for one of the big three companies. So you can imagine she is in Michigan, and she's dedicated 20 hours a week to volunteer with Bible preaching. And she's done that for 15 years. So she knows busy. So she's working full time, she's volunteering basically in a full time capacity, and working a Young Living business. She's skilled in the class style of one-on-one training, not only in English, but also in Spanish. So that is super, super huge. And of course, as you know, the Spanish segment of this company is just jumping by leaps and bounds. And I'm really interested to hear more about that. And not only does she use that in teaching others, about whole wellness, she uses those same skills in multiple areas of her influence. Okay. So she was recently featured as a guest on my favorite podcast, Essential Oil Revolution with Samantha Lee Wright. And she'll be speaking to an audience of 1,200 in the fall rally in Michigan. That's super, super huge. So she's sharing the stage with doctors and other prominent Young Living leaders. She is a silver leader and has been with Young Living for 4 years. So when we talk about the 4-year career, this is your gal. She's doing it. So without further ado, here is Tashena. I'm just so excited. So I've talked enough. How have you been? How's your day been?
Wonderful, actually. So today I worked from home, my GM job,
Mhm.
and so I actually had a vendor event scheduled, which is why we're doing this so late in the evening. And it was
Nice.
actually a body, mind, green expo. So it was geared towards green living. So there were a lot of hospitals, but also lots of chiropractors, physical therapists that are
Mm-hmm.
alternative. So it was a really good event. It was rainy here and there wasn't a lot of traffic, but I
Mm-hmm.
connected with pretty much every one of the vendors. You know, I have some that I'm going to drop off a diffuser to. There's
Mm-hmm.
others that I gave samples to. So I had an amazing time, and now I'm here sharing with you guys, which I love to do.
Awesome, awesome. Oh my goodness gracious. So that's a whole nother conversation on vendor events. It's a whole nother conversation. Okay, so because I'm curious, you already had so many things that were going on in your world. how is it that you got started with Young Living? I mean, what prompted you in terms of your why?
Yep. So I actually from 2012 to 2015 was very, very sick. So
Um,
again, I am a busy professional. I have had periods where I had jobs where I had to work between 60 and 80 hours a week, plus
wow.
do my Bible preaching at least 10 hours a week. And so I
Hmm.
did let it get in the way of my life. I did get close to 200 pounds. I did, when I came
Wow.
home at 9 p.m., get Taco Bell, right? And
Wow. Yeah.
so because of that, and in addition, I started to just have tons of other issues to the point where I thought,
Mhm.
this just doesn't make sense, right? I'm young,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
I'm in my 30s. My plan is to, if it happens to
Yeah.
go that way, to live to 150. So 30s is young to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And
True.
I was suffering a lot. Like every
Hmm.
6 months, something else would happen. So I had
Mm.
high blood pressure, and they put me on a medication for that. And then
Yeah.
I started to have hormone issues, and they put me on a medication for that. And
Got
it
it.
wasn't good enough. So they started increasing it.
Mm.
And then I was in 2 accidents in a 6 month period where I was rear ended.
Wow.
So then I had body pain.
Mm.
I had to be in physical therapy. And so it was just one thing after another. And every time I
Hmm.
went to the doctor, it was something else. So at the time, I was like on 7 medications because
Oh,
my
wow.
whole entire life I could never breathe. And I also had
Wow.
eczema, and I was just told that's the way life is, right?
Yeah.
Some people just can't
Hmm.
breathe. So you're going to have to
Yeah.
take Benadryl, Zyrtec, and Flonase for the rest of your life. That's just the way it
Wow.
is. And
Hmm.
so I just got to the point where, I was anemic and I was just in a bad mood. No one around me liked me. I was just
Oh no.
horrible.
Oh my
And
God.
I was just like in October 2014, not exercising and eating like crap is not helping, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Mhm.
definitely not helping. So
Yeah.
I joined a boot camp that forced me to like lose 20 pounds in,
Wow.
6 weeks or whatever,
Hmm.
because I'm not going to like waste my money.
True.
And
True.
I started looking for natural alternatives. I
Okay.
started buying vitamins online for hormones and buying
Hmm.
the most disgusting tinctures of burdock root
Yeah.
or whatever. And of course, I bought some essential oils from Amazon that didn't work at
Got it.
all. And
Okay.
so I was just on this journey of looking for natural living. And
Hmm.
then there's, of course, a bunch of friends online saying, I'm diffusing lavender, it smells amazing. And oils were not going
Um,
to be part of my journey because they
okay.
didn't work.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but part of
Understood.
everything that I was going through at the time
Hmm.
was I had not been as extroverted in the past. And again, I was having mood
Mm.
issues as well. And
Wow.
so I wanted to get out more. And so one of my friends had an oily home party, which I went to because we hung out
Wow.
when we were younger. I went there with the intent to not buy anything because oils don't
Mhm.
work.
Like,
And
exactly.
I went
Understood.
there and I put
Hmm.
Panaway on my body, and my life was radically changed.
So good. She's just pan away, you guys. It's
Yep.
awesome.
So that's how I got started in
Wow.
and I actually when I didn't have money to get my kit, so this was January of 2015.
Okay.
I stalked the website and then I decided, you know what, this is kind of medicine. I can use my FSA card as long as they don't check. and,
Oh no.
and bought my kit
Technically, you're not off.
technically,
Technically.
so and then I just started in February. That's how I got started.
Wow. Okay, so you started then in February of 2015. And so yeah, so
Yes.
you just came up on your oily anniversary.
Yes.
Wow. That's
Yes.
so cool. Happy oily anniversary.
Thank you.
And so in that process, were you initially thinking, okay, Panaway is good. This is kind of happening. Was that where you went, okay, I'm totally doing this as a business, or was there a time lag between when you started and then making that transition? Because it was the one oil, but now, of course, you're clearly using more than just one oil.
Exactly. So, I mean, I liked Ninja Red. I
Mm-hmm.
needed and loved Stress Away. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was a candle junkie, like
Mm-hmm.
air wicks and aerosol poofers and
Mm-hmm.
like all that all around my house. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, now I got the oil, so let's start using the oils, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
like I booked my home party before I got my kit. Like I left that home party in and booked my
Oh,
home party because literally that's how much I felt pan away changed my life. I was
wow.
like, I know my
Very
stepmom is
cool.
into these oils things. I know my sister, the one that wrote the book, is into
Mhm,
these
yeah.
oils things. And these are different and the world needs to know. So there was
Wow.
no like conscious decision. I was just like, these are different. The world needs to know. I had my
Very
first
cool.
home party like the end of February, and my
Mm-hmm.
best friend from church, my best friend from work, my
Mm-hmm.
sister, my mom, my brother, and I had 5 signups.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So it was just, yeah, folk need to know. And so for you, with that place of folk need to know, especially as working professionals, that there is a way out and it doesn't have to be this thing where you just basically lose yourself in your work and somehow use that to validate you or to find your purpose because you were working hard and you were
Yes,
volunteering hard but you weren't whole and you're going
exactly.
and so you can speak to that. I totally feel you. I totally feel you. That works. Okay. And so then, um, so when you were doing the home party piece and you had the 5 people who signed up, and then it just started to go from there, had you looked at, I guess, the business side of things? Because I know, I mean, I realize that you're in the automotive industry. And if I'm not mistaken, you studied business. Business is part of what you
Yes.
do. Okay.
Yeah, so I have a degree in business
Mhm.
administration with
Okay.
concentration in marketing.
Yes.
So I recall in some of my marketing classes when they stated that the
Mhm.
best form of marketing is word of mouth marketing. Yes, they teach that in
Um,
business school. It's not just in the
wow.
books we read. Nobody made it up. I
Okay.
distinctly remember them saying that. And I had been in a couple of network marketing things before. I
Hmm.
had minor success in the first one, zero
Okay.
success in the second one, and I never left with a negative view of them. I
Okay.
read the cash flow quadrant.
Okay.
I believed that it was me. I believed I was the problem. I didn't know how to
Mm,
do it, so maybe let me go into investing. But
gotcha.
in my heart of hearts, I was always going to be a person that was going to get free from the corporate world. Who know when that
Sure.
was happening? But the cash flow quadrant, once I read
Yeah.
that, I couldn't get it out of
Mhm.
my head. I just
Understood.
couldn't.
Yeah.
That
And that's,
the
is that,
way to wealth is investing or business. That's just the way it is.
okay, gotcha. Okay. And with the cash flow quadrant, that's, is that Robert Kiyosaki?
Yes.
Okay. Just
Yes.
wanted to make sure I got that. Okay. So that's Robert
Yep.
Kiyosaki.
So at the time of my home party, though, did I look at the comp plan? No. Did I understand the comp plan? Did I say yes? Did I know what silver was? I didn't know
Hmm.
any of that. Like one of
Wow.
my cousins came and she refused to put her social security number in. So she's like, here's the money, buy me a kit. And my upline was like, so you're going to want to put the kit on one of your downlines so you get more money from it. Like I did not know
Hmm.
what to do when I had my home party and I did not understand the comp plan.
Okay, got it. Okay. So you really were going in with just pan away is awesome. Oils really work. People need to know. Y'all need to know about this. And that was
Correct.
literally it. Okay. That is so cool. All right. So you were saying that with business school and teaching that network marketing really is that best model. And then part of your studies brought you into cash flow quadrant and reading that and realizing that ultimately you want to leave the rat race, which by the way, that is a really fun game. I don't know if you've played the cash flow game.
I've never played it. I do need to play it. I do need to play it.
So basically when we meet up and we get together in person, I will bring cash flow. It'll be awesome. We'll sit for hours. All right. So with so you had that piece. And so from there, even with okay, so you had someone in your upline. Was it the person that signed you up that was going, you should put this person in your downline, or how did that all
So
work?
it's two people above me. So my
Okay.
enroller was at my first home party, and then the person
Mhm.
above her that had already decided to do the business.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. And so, in that standpoint, I guess once you did understand about the business and you did see the comp structure for Young Living, I guess what impressed you the most about it? Because again, you're coming from this business background, so you know the things to look for to be able to go, okay, this is a worthy investment. Yes, it's a good product, but I guess from a almost like a tech side, what was it that really impressed you?
So I've definitely been impressed with the support that is there. And I know some
Mhm.
people don't feel that, like when things are out of stock or when something spills, and but
Mhm.
there the amazing amount of support that you get. Like I
Mhm.
see people who are small business owners all the time, and they
Mhm.
have to do everything. And like I don't think that we
Mhm.
understand all the details that go into running a business.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's so streamlined, like me knowing
Mhm.
business, being around small business owners, I can tell
Mhm.
you,
Yeah.
I don't care how frustrated you get because stuff goes out of stock and stuff. It is
Yeah.
amazing. And then the
Wow.
comp plan with the fast start to help you feed your
Mhm.
addiction immediately
Yeah.
and help other people to motivate you is nothing
Yeah.
I've ever seen before. Like usually you only get that money
Mhm.
by retailing product.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I know I've run into that conversation with people before where it's just, why is it that they just don't have it where it's just wholesale retail, wholesale retail? It's just, okay, yes, you have the difference in pricing, and you could do it basically like Mary Kay or Pampered Chef, where there's that, just that immediate payoff. But the whole point is for this to be something that develops long term so that you're not
Right.
having to fight your way and claw your way up with, okay, now I have to do more, like you're saying, do more parties or do more events constantly. Yes, it does happen to help with building that momentum, but it's in a completely different form because of essential rewards, which is really, really cool stuff. That's a whole nother
Yep.
conversation. So
Residual income. That's what the
insane.
level is.
That's right. Residual income. I should know this. Oh my gosh. And then, okay, so then what was the most difficult part of your journey to silver? Because have you been silver for a while, or is this just a recent kind of, oh, this is happening?
So I've maintained silver for the past 13 months. So
Very.
um when I first hit silver, I did not
Mhm.
maintain it for that first year. So that
Okay.
probably was the hardest part of figuring out what
Mhm.
pieces I was not missing and what I was doing wrong. Because
Okay.
you hit silver, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to silver retreat. And then to like
Mhm.
not have it the next month and then have it and then not have it and then have it,
Mhm.
it's like super frustrating.
Got
But
it.
you it is a totally different mindset to lead
Mhm.
a group of people, and
Okay.
you can get to executive and you can even like hit silver in a
Mhm.
November month or something like that,
Yeah.
really on your own or with one
Mhm.
other person. But you
Got
cannot
it.
maintain silver and grow beyond that without learning how to understand, help, and lead
Mhm.
people.
Wow. Okay. So that means that really is kind of the leadership circle then, because when you're in that place of, star to distributor or distributor to star, and I mean, even with star, I mean, if you just really love your product, you could hit star
Right.
technically on your own. And so even in that whole transition, it really is um, a personal development shift the whole way through.
Yeah.
And I guess it is being in that platform and in that space where it's just, okay, now I'm actually directing other people as I'm figuring this out at the same time. So, were there any particular things that you did to help with um, overcoming that hurdle of, okay, now I am in that leadership role? Were there any things that you did? I don't know if it was with team culture or if you just went on a personal retreat for 2 months and you're just kind of, okay, I'm going to figure this out. Or,
So I dug back into my tools, and so I'm part of an
Mhm.
amazing team. Scott and Brenda
Mhm.
Schuler are my Royal Crown Diamonds, and they have created an
Mhm.
amazing online system for us that tells you
Cool.
step by step what to do.
Oh, wow.
And I combed through that, and I read the books I had not read. Some
Okay.
of them were books like Coactive Coaching. So again, communicating effectively with people so that you can coach them through what they need to do.
Okay.
Um, there was several books that I had not read, and so I had
Mm.
kind of went through the executive and silver modules and not really done all of that was there. And
Okay.
so I made sure that I read those leadership books. I
Mhm.
implemented some of the things, like there was a time in our team where we had Zoom calls on a regular basis and then we stopped. And
Mhm.
so we re-implemented some of the things that were needed that made
Okay.
us successful, because like when I started, the individual that's 2 levels above me,
Mm-hmm.
she was in her silver run, and it was like, so I was in my executive run with her. Like I was part of what helped,
Mm-hmm.
along with a lot of other people, because she's
Yeah.
a great builder. She has like 12 legs. She has tons of
Wow.
volume now. Um, and it was like we kind of all together stopped doing some of the things that made us successful, and so we had
Got it.
to reinvigorate and get back to doing those things.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense. And so it was that place of basically continuing with that momentum because it's the once you get that ball rolling, it's just we have to kind of keep it moving because once you it sounds like you stopped, not necessarily or not stopped, but you slowed down significantly because
Slowed down, yeah.
okay.
One of the things, I actually reread the cash flow quadrant, and one of the things that I
Mm-hmm.
realized, and I'm not even really sure why or how,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, you need to have 500 plus people on your team, really, for it to be a
Mm.
B type business. That's what I've
Wow.
noticed. I don't know if
Okay.
it's noticed from observation and what I've read from there. So
Okay.
it is, again, it's the 4 year career, right? So I hit
Yes.
silver before that 4 years, and I didn't have 500 people, and I stopped doing the
Mm.
same thing. So we
Okay.
have to understand clearly it's a 4 year career. If you
Okay.
are a, a mom that has limited
Mm-hmm.
time and you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
replace a part-time income,
Yeah.
that probably will take you 4 years. If you
Understood.
have a job and you only have a
Mm-hmm.
certain amount of time to do it, that'll probably
Mm-hmm.
take you 4 years. And you need
Yeah.
to understand that
Mm-hmm.
clearly. And
Yeah.
again, it's going to take a, a good amount of people. It takes 500 plus really to have
Mm-hmm.
that sustainable income. Before
Wow.
that, you really have that Mary Kay business. You really have to do your classes on
Wow.
a regular basis to keep it going. If you
Wow.
stop doing that and stop doing your community things,
Okay.
you will become stagnant.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's so intense. And I love, thank you so much for saying that in terms of the numbers piece because it really is, it's a numbers game, but not necessarily in the way that we think of it. Because you'll typically hear people talk about where they are rank wise from the amount of sales that were generated versus the number of people that they have. And I realize that it doesn't mean, okay, I have, 200 people in my team, so I'm automatically an executive. It doesn't work that way, but there's definitely strong correlations
Right, there is.
between the
There's
two.
definitely ranges, and honestly, in our training system, they tell us what those ranges can be.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I almost want to ask what those ranges are because I know that for some of
I can
us.
probably look them up and put them in the event
Oh
afterwards.
my gosh, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much. Because I was gonna say
Yeah,
that was the
because I
other
mean,
way.
our Royal Crown Diamonds were the eighth Royal Crown Diamond in the whole entire company. So they
Wow.
have, they
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
very well that information. They work very closely. They're with Gary
Mhm.
and with the corporate team so that they know that information. So those
Wow.
statistics would be valid from them.
Very cool. That is so cool. And I love the fact that you know your RCDs that well in terms of this is who they are, this is how they function, this is how they work. So
Yep.
I know this is a
And Jeanette's putting in the comments that your ER is your rank, and that's very true too. Like Eric Worre
mhm,
says that your
mhm,
real team is your individuals that you have. So, and that's why the
mhm.
range can be so big. As you go
Yeah,
up, you'll see that the range is like woo, because
yeah.
there's a lot of people that don't have as many people on
Hmm.
ER. So that is
Exactly.
definitely a high correlation. And your ER also
Hmm.
determines if you're regressing, stagnant, or growing,
Hmm.
right? So if
Exactly.
you're under 30%, you possibly could be regressing. If you're at 30%,
Hmm.
you probably stagnant. If you're
Yeah.
50%, then you're Adam Green. So
Exactly. Basically. I feel you. Yeah. Because I mean I've seen folk who are just, oh yeah, I'm basically at 60% ER. I'm just, wait, what? And part of it is, of course, creating that culture where that's the norm, where for so
exactly.
many of us, it's the, well, you could possibly, get other things. It's just, that's the reason why it was so awesome to hear how you got started from a why standpoint, because you went, this is a passionate point for me because my life was horrible and I was not in a healthy place. And so I want to be able to free other people or at least show them the way to freedom. And it's not with just using the one, it's about making a whole transformation. So that is so cool. It's so, so cool. Um, And so let's see, with working professionals or connecting with working professionals as your target audience, how do you find the best way to connect with them? Because they're busy during the day, and then on weekends they're trying to catch up on life, and then just the rest of it. So what have you found to be most effective, even if you've even thought that through in terms of language, ways that you shared it? Because for example, you were talking about home parties, and there have been times where I've been told, no, 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 their classes, their events. We do not
Yeah.
call them parties. And it's just,
That
well, yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, it's really a personality thing, whether it's a class or
Yeah.
like greens tend to like classes and other people
Mm-hmm.
tend to like home parties. I have a lot of blues
Yeah.
on my team, so we have lots of parties or we have dinner together usually. So that's
Nice.
usually what we do. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, find creative ways. Remember, you can use social
Mm-hmm.
media, you can give out
Mm-hmm.
samples, you can give
Yeah.
people gifts. Like
Mm-hmm.
the only gift I give is the gift of wellness. Like if I super,
True.
super love you at your wedding, then you get a kid. Like, but that's the only if somebody passes away in your family, I tell
Mm-hmm.
you how I'm gonna pray for you. I get you a card and you get some oils and some bath
Mm-hmm.
salts. Like the
Yeah.
only appropriate gift is the gift of wellness. And so
Wow.
that gets it into people's hands. And then I think that a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times you do have to approach it from the aspect of stress relief when it comes to professionals, because
Mm-hmm.
when I started the business, I was eating Taco Bell and drinking Mountain Dew. Like the majority of the
Oh
managers
my
around me start their days with a Monster and have a Mountain Dew in the middle
God.
of the day. Like that's what's
Oh
around me. And
God.
they're healthy people. Like they're not overweight. There is no overweight
Wow.
GM managers. Like they
Yeah.
run marathons,
Mm-hmm.
but they haven't taken the time to
Wow.
investigate the
Yeah.
toxins. And
Mm-hmm.
so we just keep ourselves running the way that we can keep ourselves running. And so the
Wow.
majority of the time, the language should be
Mm-hmm.
stress relief, and
Mm-hmm.
this is going to help your kids,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not going to find, I don't work with people that are crunchy mamas. That's
Yeah,
just not who I work with.
exactly,
And then the
exactly.
same thing, if you're like at a vendor event, for me, your language
Mm-hmm.
is going to be business, right? Like
Ah.
all of the professionals that I talk to,
Mm-hmm.
my sister just did that amazing video where she said all those statistics about medical
Mm-hmm.
school, right? So when I
Yeah.
talked to them, I was like, 38% of people are using their money on alternative healthcare solutions, and it is a $5.2 trillion industry. Wouldn't it
Mm-hmm.
be great if they could go down to your pharmacy at your hospital and spend it with you instead of walking out
Yeah.
and spend that 38% elsewhere? So
Yeah.
when you're talking to business owners, you're going to talk
Mm-hmm.
business. Like you got,
Gotcha.
if whoever had that, the
Yeah.
hang up of not talking business,
Yeah.
that's what they're there for. So unless you
Wow.
came to their table to specifically buy something, then you need to
Mm-hmm.
tell them how you're going to get other people to buy more stuff from them so you can
God.
work together.
Wow. That's so cool. Okay. So I'm super curious. So as you're talking about this vendor event, was it a business networking vendor event that you were at, or was it
It
what
was
kind of
open to the public and
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be for the community of Clarkston. But
Okay.
it was the Body Mind Green Expo. So it
Ah.
probably had the more than average amount of chiropractors there, as well
Mm.
as, you know, there was like three different health
Mhm.
like stores or restaurants. So it was very geared towards that. But they did allocate the first hour to
Mhm.
business networking.
Very cool. Very cool. That is so awesome. And yeah, I'm also realizing, as you even touched upon that, if we're wanting to grow this as a business, connecting with small business owners who know what that struggle is like to be able to just keep and maintain on the weekly and on the monthly, and to give them a system that is so streamlined and is so, it's not effortless, it's effective in terms of what it does product wise and in its structure. um, but it doesn't mean that they have to go up and necessarily learn something completely new. I mean, we've heard of, people who put diffusers in their hair salons or in their coffee shops
Right.
or in their chiropractors, and it's
Yep.
just, oh, okay. So that makes complete sense. So that's really cool that you're just going, go for it, just totally share from that aspect and own it. I mean, that's really where it is. Own it. And so with the connections that you've been making, was that so you started off, of course, with your 5 signups that first month. Beyond that, in terms of the connections that you made with individuals to grow your business. Now, granted, after a while, you have business builders underneath you that you're then training in that same form. Was it an immediate connection with them, or was it something where you had to kind of enter into a community or enter into a space and then grow that, or was it immediately they know me, they know what I was like before, they're seeing me after, and they're going, yep, we want that?
So, I mean, my main business builder is my sister. And so,
Oh,
um, the beginning of my journey still was mostly the people
mm-hmm.
that I know, even though I signed up a couple people at work, they didn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily really do anything. So it's
Mm-hmm.
been the main people that I have really in my second leg and first leg is people from church and
Mm-hmm.
family members,
Gotcha.
basically.
Okay.
And
Got
so with building like with because I've signed up a pharmacy, a local pharmacy.
mm.
I've signed up someone from an alkaline water place. With those,
Wow.
definitely it takes time to build those relationships. Like right this second I'm working on trying to get in a couple hospitals, and yes, that takes time. It's just like anything else. When you start doing like vendor events or you start going to
Mm-hmm.
networking events, it
Mm-hmm.
you have to give people 7 exposures. They have to trust
Mm-hmm.
you. So it takes 6 months. Like there's no
Yeah.
way you can just walk into a business unless it was just ordained for you and they were looking
Yes.
for it. You're probably not
Amen.
going to walk into a business or meet someone and be like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, let's
Yeah.
put the oils in right now. Let me give you stranger person that's selling me something $200.
Exactly.
It's going to
Exactly.
take time to build those relationships.
Very cool. Yes. And I think that's something that feels almost a little bit daunting in a sense, because you do see those individuals where there's been that really rapid amount of growth that's happened. And it's not
Right.
necessarily that these are all the people that they were connecting with, but it's the
Right.
individuals underneath them who are just simply duplicating that process. But if
Right.
you are in that place where you are that main builder and that main grower within your team, that, I mean, it does take time. I mean, there have been times where it's taken a good 8 months of just chatting with someone off and on and just
Yeah.
gently mentioning oils. They mention that something's going on and go, yeah, this would be helpful. And figuring out how to do it in a way where you don't feel awkward. Although honestly, just I would recommend, if I was not doing oils, I go, oh yeah, have you tried, Tylenol PM? And I wouldn't think anything of it, but somehow I
Right.
go, would you try some lemon? It's just, it's, if anything, it's a better option. So it's about that process of retraining my brain and retraining others' brains of just, you don't have to, oh no, okay, yeah. If you're on Zoom call, yes, you want to transition over to Facebook Live. If you're already on here, this is going to be saved as a YouTube video. You should be able to do that. So no worries, you're not going to lose anything. Promise, you'll be good. Okay. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. This is the reason why I moved the comments. That's
Yeah.
one part of me that's kind of squirrely. But that is so true. Just be willing to plant those seeds, like Janelle said,
Yeah.
and to be in that place where you just let it grow and be patient, because that's hard. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
And honestly, I mean,
Mhm.
all those people that grew fast,
Yes.
they did this full time. They
Mm-hmm.
did it full time. And I don't think the people they just think, oh, I have a blog and people flock
Mm.
to me. No, those people spent 8 hours a day
Yeah.
on Instagram. They spent 8 hours a day on their
Mm-hmm.
blog, number one. And number
Mm-hmm.
two, some of those people, 75% of them, had their
Mm-hmm.
blog for 4 years. And
Exactly.
so they already had people when they said, buy this shampoo,
Mm-hmm.
50 people went and bought that shampoo.
Yes.
They already had people that did that. So when they switched over to Young Living and said, oils are amazing, those
Mm-hmm.
same thousands of followers were like, okay, I'll buy the oils.
Exactly. Gotcha.
So it's just about what season that you're in. Everyone is going to
Mm.
need 7 to 10 exposures per
Okay.
Eric Worre. If
Okay.
your friends, you were the first exposure to them, then yes, you have to accept that the fact that it might take
Yeah.
3 to 6 months to get some of your friends
Yeah.
and family to sign up because no
Yeah.
one in your circle was talking about oils before.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now it's the, okay, you're talking about snake oils. It's just, no, they're not snake oils. And so it's actually being able to allow them to see that process for you. So thank you for sharing that. Because again, that's one of those places where it's just, oh my goodness, I don't understand why I'm not growing fast. Just no, you're growing at the speed that matches where you are in this phase.
Exactly.
So, oh my goodness. Okay, so speaking of talking about work-life flow, so how do you set healthy boundaries? Because again, you're doing all sorts of different pieces. I refuse to say the word busy in 2019
Right.
and say productive. I'm being
Right.
productive. Busy is what small children do when they're just being busy.
Right.
We're focused. Yeah. So how do you work about how does that work life flow sit for you?
So first of all, you have to understand that you're going to be in seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, Eric Worre states that you should do a 90-day hustle at least once a year. If you could do it twice a year, that'd be great.
Cool.
And so there are seasons where I have to collaborate a lot and I have to scale back some. So my volunteer season starts, it goes from September to September. So
Okay.
from September to December, I have to focus on that. So
Okay.
you have to put your priorities straight and you
Mm-hmm.
have to work the business part-time, not
Okay.
sometimes.
Gotcha.
So when I'm not in season, that doesn't mean I don't do anything. When
Gotcha.
I'm not in season, then maybe I'm only working my business 10 hours instead of
Mhm.
20.
Got
Like,
it.
so right now, my hustle season is March, April, and May because I'm ahead on my volunteer time
Mhm.
and I get capital from like my tax refund and my bonus, and so I can do a lot of vendor events because I got capital. And so
Ah,
my hustle season matches my lifestyle. And when
gotcha.
you're in hustle season, you're not going to be balanced. The wheels are going to fall off. So
Gotcha.
like you got to get that part in your head.
Got it. Got it.
But yet and still, you schedule in. For me, this is the way
Mhm.
my personality works. I have to
Mhm.
schedule in
Yeah.
self-care.
Wow.
I have a massage tomorrow, right? So
Very
I
cool.
worked my GM job, I did my volunteer job, I have to study
Mhm.
for a test. I have been up till 11 p.m. every single
Mhm.
night. Yesterday,
Wow.
I went to 2 networking events after my
Mhm.
GM job. Today, I did a vendor event and I did this. Yes,
Wow.
totally unbalanced. But tomorrow, I'm sleeping in, I'm getting my
Got it.
massage, and I'm enjoying
Mhm.
my church at night.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So
Okay.
schedule in and take care of yourself because it is important to do the rest of the stuff.
Gotcha. Cool. And it sounds like that was something that was part of your own wellness journey of figuring out, okay, I can't just run myself ragged and then drink the Mountain Dew and eat I don't know if you guys do hot chips in Michigan. Maybe you do
Oh
hot
yeah,
chips. Okay.
exactly. Because that's what I did to myself for my entire life. That's what I did. I was
Yeah.
just run myself into the ground, and my body says, "Oh, you need to stop." Okay,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
Amara is asking seven to
Yeah.
10 exposures,
Yes.
and she's saying, "Is that having classes, giving samples, coffee dates?" And yes,
Mhm.
all of the above. So
Okay.
all of those things count as an exposure. And especially if it's our family members, like we want to
Mhm.
compact that as fast as possible. So
Mhm.
yes, you have a home party and the
Mhm.
people that don't sign up leave with samples, that's 2 exposures. And then
Um,
later in the week, you do a Facebook Live where you talk about oils, that's 3 exposures. And
yeah.
then you invite them to your make and take so that they see how they can save money. And that's exposure number 4. So we
Wow.
always want to always have samples on us. We
Okay.
always want to do a Facebook Live at least once a week.
Okay.
And we always want to do, if we choose to do classes, not everyone does that, but if you choose to do
Mhm.
classes, you want to have a class once a week.
Okay.
That way, people have multiple opportunities to have exposures and you
Got
can
it.
compress some of that time.
Wow. Okay. Got it. So it's not, you're talking, it's beyond the just simply on social media, just so yeah, you could do the Insta story or you can do kind of the post thing, but to have that full interaction where it's more deliberate, I guess that would be the better
Yes,
way to do the exposure.
definitely, definitely. So to
Okay.
me, and I've heard this from the people that grew specifically online,
Mm-hmm.
um, again, they spent like 8 hours a day and you have to interact. So if you
Yeah.
want to grow on social media,
Mm-hmm.
that means that you have to post 5 to 10 times a day on whatever venue, and you have to interact with 50 people.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So comment or DM. Comment or DM.
Exactly.
So if you choose to grow on social media, that's awesome. You can grow so fast, but understand what that actually means.
Wow.
Just because you have a Facebook page or an Instagram page does not mean people just flock to your inbox to give you money.
Wow.
Like you have to comment on them. You have, when they ask you a question, you direct message them.
Yeah.
You interact and you build a relationship just like you do offline. That's
Wow.
what the masters did.
Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. And can I tell you right now, just the idea of communicating with 50 people. I can't even. When I was
Christy
teaching,
Rose said her goal every day was to get blocked. That was her goal. That's when she went to bed. When she sent enough messages, the Instagram said, you must be a machine, I'm blocking you. You must be using some type of program, I'm blocking you. That was her goal. That's how she went so fast.
Wow, that's so intense. Because I mean, it's just, I can handle 4 people. And when there are days when I'm communicating with 12, I mean, even, I think I've had a couple days this week where it's been probably about 15 people. I'm just, okay, no.
Right.
Oh
and again, this is commenting too, right? So maybe you do 10 direct messages and then you do 40 comments so that those people can see your stuff. Because if you're not commenting on my Instagram stuff, I'm not gonna see yours. Like I can tell you that right now. If you don't comment on my stuff, I'm not going to see your stuff. So
Exactly.
if you're interacting, and and do your hashtags too, use your effective hashtags so that some people can see you, but you can see the statistics if you create a business account. So
oh my goodness gracious, that's right. And that is a super huge, just quick tip. If you're on Instagram, having a business account is super, super helpful to be able to figure out and track where things are. And there's a whole collection of additional tools on that as well. Let's see. So I want to make sure, because we're about 15 minutes out. So what do you enjoy?
Amara just said, as someone that wants to limit their screen time, it seems like I might not want to do social media. And that's me. Like I don't and that doesn't mean you're not going to do anything on social media, because you can still use social media for presence. Right? So people will still see you. So I do primarily build in person. I'm an extrovert, and like Amara, I don't have 2 hours every day to devote to do the 50 that I need to do. I'm cognizant of that. I'm not going to get upset about it. I just don't have it. And therefore, I post 1 to 5 times a day, and it's presence. And what that means is when someone sees me out in the streets, they give me a hug and they say, "You smell so good." They still, in their brain, I'm the oil girl. Gotcha. Or they say, "Oh my God, it's so good to see you." Or they say, "Oh my God, it's the big baller going to Mexico." They comment something that shows me that they watching me on social media. Exactly. Right? Yes. So it doesn't mean you don't do anything on Instagram, but just understand you're not going to get 10 signups a month on Instagram if you're not doing that interaction piece.
Gotcha. Understood. Yeah. And so it's not that the growth won't happen, but if you're looking at the rapid growth and thinking that it's from just kind of doing, it's just no, level up like 5, basically.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. And then, so for you, because, we've talked all this time about how you worked with different working professionals and how your workflow is, and we're not actually connected to how it is that you've connected with the Spanish segment of Young Living, which is super growing. And I know it's sort of where we were in terms of what you enjoy doing. I guess how did that all come about? Is that part of what you enjoy doing?
Yeah, so I mean, and that's actually a good part of my story, and because to be perfectly honest, I didn't want to go there. Like I've been speaking Spanish for 20 years, but I am not Hispanic. I started learning it when I was like 11, 13, 14. I kept it up. I've been serving at my place of worship in Spanish since I was 20 years old. I give Bible studies in Spanish. I use it on my General Motors job. I go to Mexico. I translate. But when it came to starting to share with Young Living, I was like, nope, I'm just going to wait till they create some tools. I'm going to let the Hispanic people do it. Like that was my attitude. But there is such a need because it is growing so fast. But the
Yeah.
majority of people that are growing so fast
Mm-hmm.
went to Mexico
Okay.
and built with their family and friends. And it might not be their sister was their diamond leg, but maybe it was a friend of
Mhm.
their sister, but that's how they built. And so
Gotcha.
there really are not tools, not a
Okay.
lot of tools
Mm-hmm.
for your second generation Hispanic here that doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
family still in Mexico,
Gotcha.
or the Hispanic wife that married a non-Hispanic person. There really
Mm-hmm.
aren't tools for that. And so
Gotcha.
because there weren't tools, and or you just can't afford to travel to Mexico to
Yeah.
do it,
Yeah.
like you just haven't made enough yet to be able to do
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Because there weren't those tools, I
Yes.
started creating those tools.
Wow. That's so cool. And so she's just, yep, I'm doing it. And now you're seeing how it's opened up a whole nother level of access for you
Yes.
in the company because it's just, oh, look, she's just doing it. So it's being willing to just step out and do it because you had all those tools just ready to go for who you uniquely were created to be. And so now it's
Yep.
just open doors. So, all right, I'm slightly curious. Do you have any business builders or budding business builders that are Spanish speaking?
I have 2 stars. So I have one star who is
Ooh.
actually like me that learned it in Ecuador. So I have a team in
Okay.
Ecuador. And then I have a
Wow.
star here who's been doing really, really good. And I
Yeah.
mean, she's very introverted, but she's been doing really, really good and really consistent.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh, you have a team in Ecuador. That is totally
Yes.
amazing. That is super good. Okay, so let's see with I think I already asked this. Okay, so with your team culture and with those business builders, I think we talked about this even a little bit in terms of creating that because as a leader now, having a team culture and really being intentional about it is super important. So it's not just kind of people okay, everybody just do stuff and then I'm gonna grow. It's just yeah. So how did you go about, I guess, creating a team culture? Was it something that you saw modeled to you, or did you decide to create your own? How did that all work?
So our team culture really was already there. Like a lot of my uplines are blue. A lot of
Mhm.
our team is, and so our team culture really is social and fun. So,
Okay.
um, and for me in particular, which is not necessarily the case with everyone on my team, most of my
Mhm.
team is local.
Okay.
So the majority of my team, again, I haven't put in the work that needs to be done to grow on social media. I've signed up people
Mhm.
from Instagram, I've sent
Mhm.
samples on LinkedIn, and I've signed up people from Facebook, but
Yeah.
I don't put
Mhm.
in the work to get
Mhm.
someone from Instagram and Facebook every single month. And so
Understood.
because of that, probably 70% of my team is here in Michigan. And
Gotcha.
so because they're local, again,
Mhm.
we do local classes, in-person classes. We tend to have them public classes and then encourage our other people that are growing to have their home parties,
Okay.
and we train them in their home parties.
Okay.
My sister and I actually send out YouTube videos. Like we'll do happy beginning of the month videos and we'll send that out to the team because a lot of
Mhm.
our team actually does not get that engaged in social media. So if we try to put
Mhm.
everything there, then they're going to miss some of it. And
Mhm.
then, just casting the vision. But again, we tend to have parties. We tend to have, we go to dinner and we learn while we're
Mhm.
at dinner is what we usually do because we're
Wow.
more a fun social group. And sometimes we just
Mhm.
have, a picnic or a dinner, and there's no specific
Mhm.
theme or something being taught at that about once every 3 months too. So,
Gotcha. Okay. That is so interesting. It's just we just enjoy each other's company. So we just gotta do our thing. So that's awesome.
yep.
All right. And I think we almost touched on this a little bit. In terms of your why. I know something that's really kind of I know Jill on call talks about this idea of having your 7 level why, or or others that'll say, the why that makes you cry, that really keeps you motivated in those tough times and in those tough seasons. Um, would you be willing to share what that is and just how that then helps you to drive forward?
Yeah, for me, like there's the personal part. For me is freedom. Like I love
Mhm.
helping
Yeah.
people, and there's
Mhm.
so much more that I could help people. Like I could help people learn how to speak Spanish. I could spend much more time like with my nieces that their father's divorced. There's so much. And so for me, it's time freedom because I work for GM. I make plenty of money. So for me personally, it's time freedom. But, and then beyond that is I literally want everyone I touch, whether they touch me on social media or in person, for their life to be better. Like, I would have, when I was excessively bleeding for 2 years and my doctors were telling me, oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, your body's compensating for the iron. Oh, let's just up your birth control. When I was bleeding through my clothes and a coat, when I was crying in the bathroom every other day at work because there was no way for me to not bleed through my clothes and I was washing my stuff in the sink.
Oh my God.
There's so much, there's so many people that are 5-10 years older than me and they've had a hysterectomy. Yes. So I know that this is happening to other people. Oh yeah. Like people are dying. Yes. People, I know 2 people that are having tumors taken out. Like I feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm not touching enough people. I'm not talking fast enough. I haven't done enough because people are still suffering. And so when I have a 0 sign up month or when my OGV has not gone up any in the past 3 months, it does not matter because if I talk to one person and had one conversation that just came out of surgery for a tumor and I talk to them and I'm like, how much water are you drinking? And they're like 0 and they start drinking water and I give them one oil, it's worth it because I helped one person. Because it's so, my health, my vibrancy, the emotional things that I have gone through in the past 2 years, including a divorce, like the tools that I have now are untouchable and it's there and it's available and everyone just needs to know.
Yeah, I totally feel it. I'm actually on the verge of tears, but I'm gonna be okay. I'm just gonna because I mean, it's so true. I mean, the number of conversations that I've had with people who are just, is there any way I can have some means of help with, I'm dealing with PCOS, I'm dealing with endometriosis, I'm dealing with high blood pressure, I'm dealing with all these different things. And the answer that seems to be coming back to them time and time again is just take a pill and just move on because there's nothing else that can be done. And it's just, that's not how our bodies are created at all.
No, right. And I mean, and that was my major motivation for like starting to look stuff up because I'm like, all these people I know, like when I started to have these issues and I started talking to people, like everyone had their insides taken out and half of the people had gallbladders taken out. I'm just like, I think God put that stuff in there for a reason though. I don't think that's the way that we should go. So I'm here with a minor issue that was causing me tons of pain getting a fibroid removed and I'm going to find a way to not go that way, to not get the rest of me taken out.
Oh my gosh, man, oh man. Okay, so with all of that being said, if there was, I mean, honestly, I feel like you've already answered this question. If there was someone who was potentially still on the fence about sharing, or even being in a place of becoming a business builder, I mean, what would you encourage them? What would you say to them to encourage them to start? I mean, honestly, I feel like you just said it's just people need to hear this, but maybe.
I mean, that's part of it. Like meditate really on how much it has helped you. Meditate on why you bought the kit. Think about what life was like before all of the health and wellness, because it's the toxic-free living and the oils. Think about that. And then I say this with the utmost respect because I was in this category too. I did not share in Spanish for 2 years. Stop being selfish. Stop being self-centered. The reason why I wouldn't share in Spanish is because in my brain I would say, I can't remember how to say rosemary. How can I give a class if I can't remember how to say rosemary? People are, what if they hate my American accent? What if I was selfish? I was self-centered. I was only thinking about myself. And like, I was so motivated when I went to the Latin American convention and I heard in that setting, Lindsay Teague Moreno say, I know it's hard to be first, but somebody has to do it so other people could say me too.
Yeah.
And I was sharing a
Mhm.
little bit in Spanish, and I was shocked. I was shocked the amount
Mm.
of golds that came up to me and said, I follow you. I watch all your videos. Thank you so
Oh,
much. I have entire legs in the US and you're so helpful. Thank you
wow.
for doing your rally. I didn't even know how many people needed what I
Wow.
was doing. So
Yeah.
I people need your story, they need your
Mhm.
voice, they need
Yeah.
your face. You are
Yeah.
the only one that they're going to listen to. So
Mm.
stop being selfish and thinking about all the bad that can happen.
Yeah.
Go out there and share because people
Mhm.
are in pain and they need it.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go hide now. Because I
Like
know
I
we,
said, I'm in the same category. I don't care what personality
yeah.
you were. I literally I
Mm.
had so many conversations with diamonds and platinums, and they'd be like, if
Wow.
there's no tools, you do it. And I'll be like, nope, not gonna do it. Nope. I'm just gonna
Wow.
wait till y'all fix it. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
wait till Lula gets me some stuff. And I sat there and Susanna Armstrong went diamond. Like I
Wow.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
I sat and did nothing. I
Yeah.
was the same way. So I'm not insulting anyone. I'm talking to
Oh yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
but that's what I had to do mentally. I had to stop thinking about me and thinking about the people
Mhm.
that need this because they do.
Wow, that's so good. And so that is part of why even this forum exists. And I'm just so thankful that you were willing to start this with me because people need to hear this and they need to know that their voices matter and that this is more than just somehow making a huge check so you can go off on really cool trips and you can do whatever you want.
Yep.
It's just, this really is about blessing other people and about using the gifts that you have specifically and what God has placed in you specifically to then show that to others. Because you're right. I mean, there are individuals who won't listen to me that will be able to listen to you. And
Yep.
likewise, people who won't listen to me but will listen to Amara or will listen to Jeanette or will listen to Darlin or will listen to Janelle and all these other individuals. So we have to be willing to step out of our own way and know that it's not a competition, it's about
Exactly.
all of us just stepping up and being present together. So, yay!
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are at 9:02 and I am just, you guys, I can't. Y'all know I do not like the word excited because I feel like it's so I'm so excited, but seriously, I have no words. Thank you so much for this. And for those of you who are watching this on replay, know that Tashena is available on Facebook and on Instagram. And then she also, of course, has her YouTube channel. It's just Tashena Gonzales, right?
Yep. Just my name.
Okay, so be sure to check her out. There's a whole collection of awesome resources that her team has put together, including a really amazing book on natural hair care, super good. And if you have someone that you're currently connecting with and wanting to introduce to Young Living or to the business side of Young Living, know that I think I'm correct in saying that those resources are available on your
Yes.
YouTube channel
Yes.
as well.
You'll find a Young Living business video section, and
Mhm.
you'll find a 15-minute video about my sister talking about why she wrote her book. There's all types of
Cool.
stuff on there.
Okay, fantastic. So, as always, just so thankful that you've taken out the time to invest in yourself and invest in this whole process of growing your business. Whoever it was that invited you here, be sure to connect back to them and to thank them. And if this has been incredibly awesome for you, please let us know because we plan on doing this once a month, whether you like it or not. So. Awesome stuff. So, gonna sign off here. Thanks so much. Have an amazing night. Rest well, Tashena. Enjoy your massage tomorrow. Slightly
Yes.
jealous. Slightly.
Yep.
All right, you guys. We'll talk to you later.
Night. Bye,
All right.
everybody.
Bye.